Hello and welcome to On the Kerbs. I'm your host, Team Albers Daily. On the Kerbs with me this time is Hungarian racing driver Katalin Bozó. Having fallen in love with Formula 1 after seeing it on the TV one day, who hasn't, Katalin decided that she wanted to go racing. So that's exactly what she did. Fast forward a few years and she's gained a fair amount of experience in endurance racing, driven some very eye-catching cars, and even gotten herself a motorsport-related job that allows her to visit Spa and Zolder regularly. A tough job, but someone's got to do it. We chatted about all of this and much more when we caught up back at the beginning of January. So, without any further ado, let's get straight into it. I hope you enjoy our conversation. Oh, hi Katalin. Welcome to the podcast. First of all, how are you?
Hi, thank you. I'm doing very well. How are you?
Happy to hear it. I'm good, thank you. So, first question that I like to ask everyone that comes onto the podcast, what first got you interested in motorsport?
It's a funny story because I think I was around 11 years old when I was at a family meeting at Easter. And all the men of the family were watching Formula One on TV. That was, I think, the first time I was seeing Formula One. And I was just standing in front of the TV. And the first time I saw it, I was already knowing that, wow, this is what I have to do. I love it. And then I went back home and I started to Google with my mom how they started it. Then I saw it was with karting, but we didn't have the financial background to do race cars. So I was starting with rental karting. That's how it all started.
So good old Formula One and karting. It's a classic story. Oh, it's great though, because again, it shows that, like you're saying, you didn't have the money necessary, but you still found a way. And I mean, look at you now, you're still going out there and racing quite a bit. So, and racing is, I think it's fair to say, your life now.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's also very strange that nobody in my family has a motorsport in their blood, only me. So
Had to be one.
I don't understand where this comes from, but I like it.
Well, clearly you're the quickest one in the family. That's what that means.
Yeah, I hope so.
So I noticed that you won the Belcar Series Ladies Trophy 3 years in a row, 2017, 2018, and then 2019. How much did those three mean to you? Was there one that meant more? And how did that all kind of happen?
They mean all very much to me. I'm very honored to be acknowledged as a female driver. Also, at the same time, I'm not really a fan of dividing men and women in motorsport because I think it's not a sport where they should be divided.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, on the other hand, of course, some women really, I think women need to be more encouraged to do motorsport, which is maybe easier in an all-woman series. So yeah, well, this is a
No,
hard
it's the age-old
question for
debate.
me. um, but I think women can be just as good as men with hard work and dedication in motorsport. So,
No,
but
definitely.
back to these trophies, all of them mean the same to me. In fact, we didn't had that much women in the championship. I think 4 or 5 maximum. So winning it was, yeah, of course, it meant a lot to me, but it meant a lot more when we were being second or third at the end of the year with my team.
Yeah, I get that. It's and again, maybe that helped to get you there in the first place because, like you say, while it would be nice to have everyone on a level playing field, at least you got the recognition that you deserved. That then you could go off and do all these other racing things, and then get that satisfaction from coming second or third, like you said.
Yeah, exactly.
And talking of things that you would get as a result of being recognised, in 2019 you got to test the Norma N20 FC, which is a pretty awesome looking car. How the heck did that happen?
There was an official test day by Norma, and everybody, I think, who had a racing license could just sign up for that. So,
How easy is that?
yeah, it was kind of easy.
How,
But
how was the test?
it was amazing, but there were too many people signing up for that day, so they deployed the second car, which was in fact the championship winning car of Belcar. I'm not sure in which year, but I got to test that car. So
That worked out quite well then.
yeah, the championship winning car, the McDonald's car. So yeah, it was very special for me, and yeah, I wish I could do it one more time and to
I'm
race it.
sure. How long did you get to test the car for?
Oh, good question. I think
Not
it
long
was
enough, probably.
not long enough. It was 2 or 3 times, like 10-15 minutes, something like that.
No, definitely not enough time. Need longer.
But it was fun.
No, I'm not surprised. It definitely looks like it'd be a fun car to get into, and never mind have a drive around in. So,
Yeah, especially that it's a high downforce car. I love those, and that it's open. It has that I don't have a roof. I love it. I love to have this. I love to feel the wind, the everything what's surrounding me without a roof and windows. So yeah, I loved it.
had you ever raced anything like that before, or was that your first experience with that kind of a car?
I was testing already a Formula BMW at the Nürburgring, but I never raced with
Okay,
those, sadly.
maybe one day. Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Talking of racing, though, you were back on track last year and competing in the ERA Championship. How did that go for you, and how was 2022 in general, race wise?
Before ERA, I was racing in the Belcar Skyline Sprint Cup with a Mini Cooper SR56 to be exact. And that went well until the point that I got pushed out in one of the races in Zolder and I had a mild concussion. It was one day before my birthday.
Oof, not a
So
happy birthday present.
not really. And then that ended my racing season kind of because of yeah, all my budget went into the reparation of that. I was also racing simultaneously the Citroen C1 Cup, which also ended because of that, because of the budget problems, of course. So, but then on the other hand, I spontaneously got the chance to test with the ERA car at the Hungarian, which
Third
was
time lucky.
yeah, it was such a great experience. Especially, it was the first time I was driving a race car at the Hungaroring.
Hmm.
And before that, I was only one time on the Hungaroring, and it was a track day with the Honda.
Oh,
So
yeah. I imagine
you
that was
can
quite special for you then to be able to go out there in a proper race car.
yeah. It was a big Hungarian weekend because the WTCR was there, ETCR was there, the truck championship was there, and in all those there are Hungarians driving. And then I was also there as a Hungarian, so I felt very proud. And I'm very thankful to ERA that they were so happy, so kind to have me there. And yeah, and then I got invited to Jarama, also to take the car, which was also great. So
So a lot of
yeah,
testing, and you managed to get something good out of the year. Then after the troubles at the start of it, then it's a shame that it had to end in that way. But at least you managed to get something out of it.
yeah, exactly. So at the end, it was a happy end for the season.
Did you kind of wake up the day after you were at the Hungaroring and just kind of think, did that really happen, or was it kind of did it feel normal or not so much?
Think I still didn't realize what happened.
uh,
Yeah.
no,
But the,
hope,
the thing was to see myself on Eurosport. Just a few days ago, I was at a restaurant where the TV was on, and it was on Eurosport, and they had advertisement. And suddenly I look up and I saw myself driving the ERA car in their advertisement in Hungary on a television, which was really for me
well, you've made it now. You're famous.
No, the problem is I was in my helmet and nobody knows it was me, I think. But
It's just you.
but I knew it. So I was just being very loud in the restaurant, like, look, that's me.
Who's this crazy woman pointing at the
Everybody was
car?
looking kind of strange too. Yeah.
You then also managed to get a chance to drive an Citroen C1 at Spa towards the end of last year. How did that come about as well? Again, you seem to be just getting all these really neat little opportunities there to go and race at some cool places.
How did I manage that?
Yeah, you just keep pulling these opportunities out of thin air. It's impressive.
Yeah, look, the most difficult thing is to get into this motorsport world, but once you're in it and you know some people and you have the good connections, then it gets a bit easier. It's still hard, of course, but yeah, like the Citroen C1 Cup, it's not really an expensive championship to do, so there it's a bit easier to get a seat, especially that it's endurance racing championship, so the costs are divided by all the drivers. Yeah. So, but it's still fun, especially when all those same cars, so many of it, are racing together. You don't even feel that it's slow because everybody else is slow. So
I was going to say, it does seem a curious thing at Spa, especially. You're so used to seeing Formula One there and these kind of cars that you think, can a C1 even make it up a Rouge? You don't, it's like, is it quick enough?
The funny thing is that in Eau Rouge, you have to shift back from 4 to 3 to get up.
Oh, I love that. Oh, what was it like the racing at Spa again? Because as we'll get to in a little bit, you've been there 1 or 2 times before, so you know it fairly well, but it's been a little while.
It's always a pleasure to be back in Spa. I'm also very often there because we organize track days and I'm working there as doing the administration. And every now and then, yeah, and every now and then I try to get in a car too when we are there, when I'm finished with work. So like last time, I was testing a Citroen C1 with the team of TB competition. And they invited me because they were so nice that I can just do some laps in between work. So I just jumped into overall, got into the car, was driving a few laps, then got out and changed back and went back to the administration from our organization.
Not a bad way to spend a lunch break.
Sorry?
That's not a bad way to spend a lunch break.
No, it's not.
You were saying just now that you spotted yourself on TV and you knew it was you, even though the helmet was on and everything, which makes me think your helmet must have been pretty easily identifiable. And it looks pretty neat from the design that we could see on your social media. Is there a particular story behind that design, or did you just choose some cool looking things?
It's second. No, I really wanted. So my old helmet, the homologation is valid only until this year, I think. So I needed a new helmet, and I was already, not liking the design very much anymore. And yeah, that one was in the colors of Sky Limit Events, my main sponsor, and where I. But of course, everybody was thinking it was because of Senna, because it's yellow and green. And yeah, of course, it's also
happy coincidence, maybe.
Yeah. But those are not really my colors. So now I really wanted a helmet which represents me. I also really like. So turquoise is my favorite color, or light blue, or I don't know how to call it.
Not turquoise, yeah.
So that color I really wanted to have. And yeah, I just told the designers at Speedwear that I want to have something looking very fast and cool. So that's many stripes on it. There's also a fine line of holographic color. So when the light is shining on it, then it's really sparkly. So that's a little girly in it. But I don't like to wear pink when I'm on the racetrack. I don't like to show everyone that, look, I'm a girl, so
Just a
I'm
surprise for afterwards when you take off the helmet and they see who's
exactly.
there.
Yeah, I'm avoiding to wear pink for racing.
Well, I like the helmet though because you've got the Go Racing stripes, which automatically make you quicker. And then if it's hard to spot you, you've got the glittering colours, and then the sun catches on that, and then everyone's blinded. Like, who's this driver? We can see them there.
Yeah, it's also quite easy to spot on pictures when I'm getting some pictures and we don't know who is the driver from us, three or four, then you can always spot this helmet that this is me.
You definitely need that in motorsport. I think you get so many helmets these days and different designs that you find out pretty quickly which ones are easy to spot and which ones you still have no idea, even if it's the same person after 5 years. So at least with you, we're not going to have that problem.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that.
And then, as I talked about a little bit just now, Spa, you've obviously got a lot of experience at. Zolder as well seems to be the other international track that you know quite well, both thanks to the endurance racing that you've been doing. The main question is, though, do you have a favourite?
This is very mean.
I did tell you.
Because Zolder is where I made my racing license, where I'm working, where I have the most experience. That's my home track. I call that my home track, and I really love it. But Spa, on the other hand, charms me also every time when I go there. It's just different. Yeah, I don't know. I would say that my favorite tracks are located in Belgium. That's my very diplomatic answer.
There was me going to suggest maybe that Spa is your home away from home. Then you could have two homes there. But yours works too.
I can't choose, really.
What was it like then? Because you say Zolder was the place where you kind of learnt everything in on that side of things, and you got your race license there. What was it like having that as the track where you're going to do all this stuff? Because I mean, there's so many racetracks across Europe. It could have been like a really small karting track that no one's ever heard of, but you've got to do it at Zolder, which now, thanks to Formula One a lot, has exploded in terms of popularity again, and you know it very well.
I think it was very good that I was starting racing there, and that's my home track, because it's so technical, the track, and it has so many different type of corners and braking points that I could learn already a lot, which I can use on easier tracks. Good. I think that Zolder is kind of a hard track to learn. So if you manage to be good in Zolder, then you can be good more easily on other tracks. That's
That
what I
makes sense.
also hear from other persons. So
It must be true then.
yeah, I hope so. I know, I really think so.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, and I like what you say there because the classic tracks they always seem to have something extra about them. So, like you say, if you can get on well with one of them, then hopefully none of the other ones should be not easy, but easier maybe.
Yeah, I think it's like that. And
Works for Spa anyway.
sorry?
It works for you for Spa as well anyway.
Yeah. Look, doing a 24-hour race in Spa or in Zolder, I can say that in Zolder it's way harder. It's way harder on the car, of course, because there are not so many long straights to cool down the car, but also for the driver, you don't have those 1 or 2 seconds where you can just kind of
You've got
relax.
the start finish straight, and that's about it.
And yeah, you always have to be focused because it's so short, those straights, that you don't have time to even breathe.
Not convenient in an endurance race.
Yeah.
You're saying there about doing 24-hour races at both of them. How was doing a 24-hour race? Because obviously that's the longest kind of endurance race you can do. Obviously, you're not doing the full 24 hours, but you're still doing a stint, having a break, and then coming back again. Did it get trickier the further in you got? Is that a stupid question, or like what was that whole experience like?
Um, it's always tricky. You can never know what will happen. There's always something happening. And good question.
I've put you on the spot now.
Yeah, well, doing a 24-hour race is always very hard. I love it with all its ups and downs. It's so hard to even to finish the race, but in which position you finish, that's you can never tell. Like, there's so many things happening, and everything must be perfect to have a chance for the podium even.
Do you get more
So
satisfaction then out of just finishing a race like that rather than where you finish? Or are you still a little bit annoyed maybe that you're like, oh, we only came in this position when we could have got a bit further up?
yeah, when we finish fourth, then I'm annoyed very much because it's such a good feeling after a race like that, such a long race, to go to the podium and have the champagne shower and do all that. But when you just finish fourth, that's the worst thing for me.
Better to finish sixth, and then it's like, well, at least we weren't anywhere near the podium.
Yeah, if the points doesn't matter, then yeah, doesn't matter. But when we are fighting in the championship for
Yeah.
the whole year, then yeah,
I'll
different
move on.
question.
I'll move on. It's clearly a painful topic. You mentioned earlier your main sponsor is Sky Limit Track Events, which is also where you work. What does working for them involve?
I'm doing the administration. That means that I'm putting online all the events we do, the track days in Zolder, Spa, and Nürburgring, but also we organize the Nürburgring Drift Cup, drift days in Zolder, courses for beginners, and everybody who is booking that, I'm in contact with them, me and my colleague.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we do. And I'm very grateful to have this job because that was always my dream, to work in motorsport. And yeah, I cannot imagine something fitting me better than this job. And I'm so thankful that I can be so close to track action also in my everyday life, but
During
also
a
that
lunch
I
break.
can, yeah, during the lunch break, especially. And yeah, I love it that I can also, like, when it's off season, like now, I can work just from home, from Hungary, and I can travel so much. It's amazing.
And shows as well how you managed to get these opportunities because you're the first one to know about when all these events are happening. Like, oh, I like the look of that one. Let's do that.
Yeah, it definitely helps my work in my racing career.
You're saying obviously it's off season at the moment and you get to travel a little bit and have a bit of you time. Is part of what you're doing as well planning some more racing stuff for 2023? And if so, can you share any of that?
I'm planning, of course, I will do my racing license once again, but nothing is sure yet if I will race or not. I will just request my racing license to be sure if there is spontaneous
It seems to happen
plan.
a lot with you, so that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm kind of a planner. I like to have things planned in advance, but with racing, I can't because of several reasons, of
Yes.
course. So my racing career is really very spontaneous and hectic. Sometimes many things happen at once. Sometimes there was once that I was doing the 24 hours of Zolder, but also the Ford Fiesta Sprint Cup, which was two qualifyings and two races before the 24-hour race started. So I was just running in the paddock back and forth. And then there are months when I'm just in the paddock and not having a seat. So
All or nothing.
yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Watch this space anyway. And if you're having to do more stuff like that, then at least you'll sleep well at the end of it because you'll be so busy going back and forth, like you say, running around and driving everywhere that you'll just collapse afterwards and you need the break then.
Yeah, I'm kind of tough.
You need that, I think, especially for endurance racing. So that's good.
Yes. And now I started with fitness more seriously again. So this year I would be more fit than ever. So I hope the opportunities will come now.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I'm going to say you've got a good bit of varied experience with you now as well. So you can at least take a chance on you and let you have another test.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you.
Away from motorsport, though, as I always do with my interviews, a few fun questions that are not related to anything at all to finish off. Just having a little look at your Instagram, all the lovely cars that are on there to have a bit of research. And there was a lot of food as well. So I've got to ask, what is your favorite dish to cook? And what is your favorite food to eat then? Because that might not be the same thing.
This is the most difficult question until now.
Forget the motorsport. The food is where the tricky stuff starts.
Because I love gastronomy, but I also have to watch out for my figure and what I.
The trouble with being a racing driver.
What I love to eat the most is my mom's cooking, especially rockot krumpli. It's like layered potatoes with some sausage and onions, and potato, with the white sauce everywhere and cheese. So it's a very heavy
sounds
food.
Quite nice.
And what I like to cook the most, in fact, I always prepare something very healthy when I'm cooking myself, because I know when I go to my parents that there I cannot choose to have a salad.
Try and balance it out a bit.
Heavy Hungarian meals. So at home I really do just salads, some fish, chicken, some easy stuff. Yeah. In fact, spinach I like to eat a lot.
Cook healthy, eat less healthy, maybe is the best way to describe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you rather live 500 years in the past or 1,000 years in the future?
This is easy because 500 years ago there were no cars. So
it's always this kind of answer with a racing driver. Go where there's cars.
Okay. So it's my answer is 1,000 years later.
Go see what there is to drive. I like it. And then the last question. What was the last book you read and would you recommend it?
It was a Hungarian love story. And I would recommend it, but it's kind of like for teenagers, this book, because I started this book 6 years ago, and every time I was traveling, I was taking with me this book, and I always had to start all over again because I forgot already what was before. But last year I managed to finish it finally. So
how long did it take you to finish in the end?
6 years. But no, when I'm
kind of glad you recommend it then, because if you'd got through 6 years of that and then it was terrible, that would be awful.
No, at the end, when I count the beginning date and the end date, it was, I think, 2 months, 2 or 3 months in total.
When you managed to get through it properly. Okay, that's not too bad then.
It could be better.
It's better than 6 years.
Let's see what this year will bring regarding reading books.
If you start one and you finish it this year, you've already done a good job. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, then I will have 5 times better than last time.
Need to get you a racing reading book, maybe. You'll read it quicker then.
Can be.
Well, Katalin, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. I want to thank you very much for being here and wish you the best of luck with everything in 2023.
Thank you very much. I wish you also all the best for 2023, and thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you again to Katalin for coming onto the Kerbs with me. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what she ends up doing next motorsport-wise, both on and off track. If you want to follow Katalin's career, links to her socials will be in the description below, so do go and check those out. Join me again next time when I'll be chatting to another famous face from the world of motorsport. In the meantime, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, as well as check out the back catalogue of episodes on the On the Kerbs channel. If you want even more from me, you can listen to me chat about everything Formula 1 over on the Undercut Podcast, as well as delving into the world of Nitro Rallycross over on the Nitro RX Podcast. Both are available wherever you get your podcasts. As for written content, I currently write for Is It Fast, Paddock Sorority and Paddock Passion, so be sure to check all of them out with original pieces released each week. All of the information and links for those will be in the description below, as well as my Instagram and TikTok handles if you want to go and follow me there. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll be back soon with another episode.